Benona Buck podcast, number 23, the B Money Experience. Today, we have a very special guest, my she's not old, but we've been friends since we were little kids. My friend MJ is here.
Such a old.
Yeah, MJ is here. Say hi, MJ.
Hi.
Okay, let's do hey, Rose, if Rose is on. Rose, give us a sound check. Let us know if you can hear MJ. I'm sure you can.
Hi, Rose.
Yeah. So.
I can't hear her.
No, she's not on the pod. But I think Rose is on. Let's see. Rose, let us know if you can hear MJ. Rose is going to be joining me later after my thorough interview of you today. I'm going to be interviewing MJ. I got a lot of really fun questions to ask her, and I'm interested to see what she has to say, what her answers are going to be. So let's see. I'm going to pull up my little chart here. I actually emailed myself some questions that are interesting. More interesting that I could come up with on my own. Okay.
I don't know if we need that though, because you're
We're gonna.
pretty much my brother.
Yeah, but
my brother, really.
Yeah, but I want to ask you these questions. It's going to be fun and interesting.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so we're going to start off the pod with this. This is question number 1, MJ.
I'm ready.
MJ, tell me the 3 best things about you.
Well, I didn't know these questions were going to be so hard.
Tell me the 3 best things about you.
I'm intuitive and help people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extremely creative
Mm-hmm.
and visual. And I'm real and honest all the time.
You're intuitive and help people. You're real and honest. What was the second one? Visually.
I'm creative and visual.
Creative and visual. You are creative and visual. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Fantastic. Okay, MJ, on a scale of 1 to 10, how strict were your parents? And are they still strict? Are they still strict? How strict were your parents on a scale of 1 to 10? I can tell you this before you answer.
Okay.
When I first met MJ, I was 17 and she was maybe 14 or something like that. And
Yeah.
her parents weren't that strict because I was down in the basement with her. Okay, and I was a boy and she was a girl. That was not that strict. But anyways, go ahead. What do you think? How strict were your parents on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, I feel like they tried, right? I mean, my grandma had 16 kids, so I come by things honestly, but I would say they attempted to be a 7.
Okay. They weren't
reason
like
I say
overly
that-
crazy. They weren't overly crazy. Well, I think they also probably knew that I was pretty much a nice guy and I wasn't trying to knock up their 14-year-old daughter in their basement.
No, so, I mean, the reason I say 7 is because they did try to shelter me in a way, but
Yeah.
they also allowed me to expand my wings and, like, live in the real world, right? Like, I grew up religious, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They had expectations of me. I always respected my parents, and so I never wanted to let them down or embarrass them in any way, shape, or form, and I took that seriously. I mean, I call my parents every single day, at least twice a day.
Yeah.
I text them all the time. Like, I love them to death. They're fantastic people.
They're so fantastic. I love your dad. I love your mom. They're amazing people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would say 7, because they didn't try to, keep me in my room locked up forever. But they also, I mean, they had expectations.
I think they kind of,
of
met the people before, like, they would let you do stuff, because I remember, we didn't know each other very long, and they let me take you to a haunted house, right?
Correct.
But they met me first. I came to your house, I met your dad, I shook his hand, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
and I respected the fact that they wanted to know the people I was going out with.
But they let you do it.
Like,
You weren't going out with like some drug addict with blue hair and shit, you know, that
right.
was known
Like,
around town that
I think that they respected me enough in my values and opinions of people, so they allowed, you know, older guys or whoever, you know, to come to the house, meet them, and if they didn't feel right about it, they'd tell me no.
Yeah.
And I respected that, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I think that's
Yeah.
a 7 is good. Hey, number 3, MJ. Who was your worst teacher and why? Who was your worst teacher? And I'm going to level it down in high school. In high school, who was your worst high school teacher and why? You don't have to say like their whole name or anything. You can say like my math teacher was the worst in this grade or some, you know.
So since we narrowed it to high school.
Yeah.
I'm going to say my math teacher.
Okay.
Reason is, I had it first hour. I'm a creative and visual person, like I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a morning person, and this bitch was super excited about math. First thing in the morning, she's pumped, right?
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I hate math. Like, let me draw and create things. So I think she was a good teacher, but, like, we didn't vibe because we didn't have similar interests.
She wasn't, like, bad. She was the worst for you, especially because of the time period. Like, you had to go in at 7:30 in the morning, and you're immediately doing math with someone who's clapping in your face.
Yeah, and she loved it. And a lot of the students were super, they loved her. They loved her because she got people excited about it, but I was like, listen, like, this is first thing in the morning, like, I'm not into math at all. My dad and I used to fight over math homework all the time because he'd explain it to me like 45 different ways for like 6 hours, and I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
He's like, how do you not get it? I was like, why are there, like, letters and numbers mixed together? This is stupid.
Yeah. You didn't need that anyways. Look at you. You were a success without all that nonsense. Okay. Question number 4 for you, MJ. Because you just said who your worst teacher was in high school. Who was your favorite teacher and why?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite teacher was my home ec teacher.
Ooh, okay. Get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
Okay, well, I cook from scratch, right?
Yeah.
I still sew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I possess all of these traits that most women don't have anymore, and that's not a knock against women,
yeah.
but they took home ec out of schools. And I think it's like a survival skill, just like they took shop class out of most schools. And
yeah, that's a mistake.
Survival skill.
That's a mistake. Most of these kids need to be learning trades. They don't need to be doing this fucking going off to university. Half the people don't need to be doing that. The other half of them need to learn. They need to do all the shop classes. They need to learn how to work with their hands because there's a lot of these trades like plumbers, electricians that they need people, but these people they're not being sent in the right direction.
No, and they're in like huge demand right now, but there's so few of them.
Yep, crazy.
So you could make a crap ton of money in those trades.
So you enjoyed home ec. It was just fantastic.
I love home ec.
What time of the day was that class for you? Was it also better for you on your schedule?
Yeah, that was better for me.
It was after lunch.
It was after lunch, but it was something that I thoroughly enjoyed. Like, I took shop class, I took home ec, like, I took art every chance I could possibly get. I took, like, all sports classes, gym classes. I loved all of that, but I mean, I'm kind of ADD, type A, work with my hands, like to be busy. So if I had to sit there and be silent and read books and, like, do math and science and stuff, I was like, this is just not me.
Yeah. That's good. That's interesting.
I did take all of those skills from home ec and applied them.
You're using them. You use them to this day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used shop class. I was my dad's son. We worked together all the time.
Yep. For sure, you are an independent woman in a lot of ways. You're able to do a lot of things.
I'm a good partner.
Yeah, a great partner. Okay. Here.
And if you can't cut it, then I'm independent. I'll be fine.
Vittorio.
You better have man skills if you're coming into this house.
That's funny. Okay, moving on to question number 5. MJ, which would you pick? Being world-class attractive, being a genius, or being famous for doing something great? You get 3 things. World-class attractive, you can't have them all, you have to pick one. World-class attractive, a genius, or famous for doing something great?
Famous for doing something great.
Yeah, what would that something be?
Well, that could be anything.
Yeah, like what great thing, like if you were taking the clay and molding your life, what great thing could you see yourself being famous for doing?
Despite my profession,
Mm-hmm.
I have abilities that I was blessed with in helping people through my experiences better their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I get great satisfaction out of that. So being able to help people through the things that I've experienced so they can better their lives is probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
That's cool. It's amazing. I'm gonna take what you just said right there later, a few questions down the list, and I'm gonna ask you something else about that. But moving on to question number 6. MJ, who are the 3 greatest living musicians? This is a weird question, but I'm gonna ask it. Who are the 3 greatest, or who are your 3 favorite musicians? I'm gonna change it. Who are your 3 favorite musicians?
So they're not necessarily living?
They don't have to be. I'm changing it. Who are your 3 favorite
Number 1,
musicians?
Aerosmith.
Okay.
Steven Tyler.
Steven
Basically
Tyler.
the whole band of Aerosmith.
I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. Right?
He is fantastic. And I just want to say this about him.
Yeah.
Okay? You can literally see and feel him feel music.
Yeah. Yep.
So, like, when you watch him perform or you watch him watch someone else perform, the love that he has and the passion that he has for what he does is totally amazing.
It's fantastic.
It's something you can feel.
Yeah. I'll take that.
That's number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, AC/DC.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. I love this. Hey, you're picking some good ones.
Black and black.
Yeah.
Because I always wear
Yep.
or I always wear black.
Yep.
Yep.
I love AC/DC. That's on my tops,
If
too.
you have to step away for something, you can always come back, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
And who's your 3rd?
MJ. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Okay, you picked the right podcast to say that.
Michael Jackson.
And I know MJ said that she listened to 19, 20, 21, and 22. So she listened to all the podcasts back to 19. So I know she heard some Michael Jackson over the past few podcasts because we have been detailing it quite a bit. So that's the right thing to say. I think you just are saying that. I'm not 100% sure that Michael's in the top 3 of you, but I appreciate you saying it though.
No, here's the reason why. I'm not just saying that. Here's the reason why. Because of the same reason as number 1 with Steven Tyler.
Mm-hmm. The passion.
You can see and feel the passion, the live entertainment, everything they put into their work is very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I mean, best entertainer of all time.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take it.
And I
Thank you.
think he has a really tender heart and he's misunderstood.
Rose Clarity comments, good picks to your top 3. She likes them. I think she would say the same. I don't know if she wouldn't pick them in that order, but maybe 1 or 2 of those might be in her, for sure 1 and maybe 2 would be in her 3. Okay. MJ, question number 7. All the fans, the millions in attendance, And the billions watching round the world want to know this question, the answer to this question. If you could
Okay.
change one thing about yourself, MJ, what would it be? What would you do? What would you change about yourself?
Wow. That's reflective, right?
Yeah, change anything you want. I can do it with a snap of the fingers. You just say it, and we'll change it. You tell me all about it. What do you want to be different? You want to be a little taller? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
No, I think it's deeper than that. That's why it hit me right in my gut.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like I'm a good person. I strive to be a good person. I strive to help people, but I think that I neglect myself and my own needs. I tend to put them on the back burner.
yeah,
So I would probably change that. Like, I've always lived my life to make other people happy as far as helping them,
yeah,
right? Which
yep,
kind of goes back to question, I don't know if it was 2 or 3,
yeah,
right?
yep,
I would love to help people. But I don't always look internally. Like, someone asked me one time, like, what makes you happy? And I literally went, I have no idea. I never really thought about it.
mm-hmm. You
I would
never
change
thought because
that.
you're always thinking of others. You're
Yeah,
always thinking
I would
about
change
the
that.
people around you. How can I help my dad? How can I help my mom? How can I help my sister? How can I help
Yeah,
my friend Buck? You know?
yeah,
Should I call
yeah.
Buck? I feel like Buck needs me to call him. You know?
Like, oh, what client is in front of me right now? How can I
Yeah.
make them feel better about their situation?
And
You know,
what
and like
crazy
putting
shit.
everything on, going through and whatever on the back burner. So I would say I'm kind of in that transition phase of my life right now where I'm trying to learn that about
Mm-hmm.
myself. What would actually make me happy, and then not feeling selfish in doing those things.
So that's a good one then. So remember that. Keep that
Okay.
in mind as you go forward. If you
Okay.
could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And I think that's kind of cool that's a
Yeah.
reflective thing. Okay, question number 8, MJ. What was your
Okay.
favorite toy growing up? Growing up, what was your favorite toy? And you know what? If you had multiple
You're not
favorites,
gonna
like did you
believe
like
this.
Cabbage Patch Dolls? Did you like Transformers? Ninja Turtles? Did you like the girly? Did you like My Little Ponies? Did you like Barbies? What was your favorite? What sticks out to you just off the top of your head?
Okay, you're not going to believe this,
Okay.
probably, but I didn't care about that stuff.
You didn't
Like my
have a
parents,
toy?
like, would,
You didn't
no,
have a
my
fucking
parents would
toy
try
that
to
was your
discipline
favorite?
me.
Give me a break.
No, they try to discipline me by like taking stuff away, and I was like, whatever.
Really?
Like, didn't bother me
What
because I
toys?
would rather be out like catching toads,
Eating
like
toads.
climbing
Probably
trees.
eating toads.
No, I would catch them, especially those little tiny tree frogs,
Yeah.
like the little tiny ones, and then I like created a whole little habitat for them on my kitchen table, and they were my pets.
That's nice.
No, I wanted to be outside climbing trees with my guy cousins.
Did you have a bike?
Wishing I had
Did you have a
brother
bicycle?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a bike.
Did you like your bike?
It was fine.
Was it a pink bike with little ribbons on it?
I had one of those with the little tassels around the tires, you know, so they'd make noises when you pedaled.
Yeah.
And they were glow in the dark, little tassels you put on your spokes.
Yeah.
But, like, I can honestly say, like, I just wanted to be outside. Like, I didn't really care about that. Although I did cut, like, my Barbie's hair and stuff. I
Okay.
kind of always knew what I wanted to do.
So you had a Barbie and you cut her hair. And you said what you wanted to do was mutilate people.
I would have my Barbie's thing, and then I would cut her hair.
Okay. Well, good. I think a lot of girls did that. Okay. Moving on to number 9. MJ. We've already named your 3 greatest musicians. Now I want you to name, in number 9, name your 3 celebrities. 3 celebrities that you most admire. And it doesn't have to be, like, when I say celebrity, this could be just someone well known. It doesn't have to be like Hollywood celebrity. It could be, you know, anybody that someone that's listening to this might know. Someone well known.
Robert Downey Jr., number one.
Okay.
Reason being, phenomenal actor, overcame adversity, super hot.
Cocaine. A lot of cocaine that he overcame.
Overcame adversity, super hot.
Okay, cool.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Motherfucker.
Phenomenal actor.
Mm-hmm.
Never gave up his dream. Didn't become famous until he was in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Still kicking ass.
Yeah.
The third one, Brad Pitt.
Brad fucking Pitt. Oh, that's a good pick. And why Brad Pitt? Just because he's so just gorgeous, you know?
Well, he's the only blonde I like. But besides that, great actor. He's very selective in the roles that he plays,
mm-hmm.
which I appreciate. He doesn't just, like, take any role that's thrown at him.
Yeah. What's your favorite Pitt movies?
Means that if he doesn't connect with the role, then
mm-hmm.
he doesn't do it.
What's your favorite Pitt movies? If you were thinking just off the top of your head, what comes to mind? Your Brad Pitts.
Oh.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, obviously. Who can go wrong with that one? Who can go wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Smith? You know?
That's hot. That's kind of my life story.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I honestly liked all of his movies. Fight Club.
Yeah. You like that?
That's a good one.
We reference Fight Club a lot on this. With this podcast, we have a little section where it transforms away from being the B Money Benona Buck podcast, and it's called the Soap's Nice Soap Opera, where Rose talks about making soap, and we often reference Fight Club because they use human fat to make soap. Yeah, so that we kind of tie Brad Pitt into our podcast a little bit every day.
Yeah, I can honestly say I've liked all of his movies. I'm trying to think of the one. I can't think of the title of it right now.
Yeah.
He was. Oh, Benjamin Button is a good one.
Yeah.
But he was younger in this movie. I'm trying to think of.
They all just blend together for me. I really like Meet Joe Black. It's one of my favorite Brad Pitt movies.
That is it. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. That's such a good movie. Yep.
That's what I was thinking of.
Do you think
great minds think alike.
Yeah, if Brad Pitt, totally like Fight Club Brad Pitt, walked into a bar and Tom Cruise, around this year, Tom Cruise with a couple Scientologists and his Terminator robots, which if you've listened to this, you would know he has these Terminator Scientology robots that are on the movie set of Top Gun 2. And they're in there.
Okay.
And it's just Brad Pitt with a couple, I'll give him brass knuckles, but he has to take on Tom Cruise, two big Scientology bodyguards, and Terminator robots. How fast before Tom Cruise and those guys throw Brad Pitt straight out the door of that bar?
It's not going to happen. Tom Cruise is a weenus.
Yeah, but he's got these two, in picture, they're big. One of them's a big black, strong NFL-looking dude. The other one's a giant-looking WWE superstar-looking guy, and they're just there with Tom Cruise. And they heard that Brad Pitt has been talking smack about Scientology, and now it's time for a reconciliation.
Yeah, I'm still.
Your money's on Brad. Okay.
Well, just because I don't like Tom Cruise.
Okay. I can't believe you said that on this podcast. This is literally sponsored by Tom Cruise and Scientology. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Sorry about it.
Okay. Name a celebrity. The next question is, name a celebrity that you think is lame, but don't even think of saying the name you said on the last answer that you don't like. Say someone else. Because we don't accept...
Name a celebrity that I think is lame?
Yes. Someone you think is lame. A celebrity.
Okay.
Who is lame?
Lame celebrity.
Don't you dare say Joseph R. Biden. Okay?
I don't consider him a celebrity.
He's the most popular president of all time. 81 million votes.
No.
Yep. You don't think so?
No.
We talk about that on the pod. We're trying to figure out where the people are on YouTube. We go to all the videos and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
We have more comments than they do.
No, I don't consider him a celebrity.
Rose says
the Kardashians.
Kardashians, how dare you? Which
I think
Kardashian?
they're lame.
I love the Kardashians. Which one do you think is lame? All of them?
All of them but Khloe. I think Khloe is the realest one out of the whole entire family.
I love
because I don't like fake people.
I even like the man. I'm sorry, the former man. The woman of the year, Caitlyn Jenner, is one of my favorite Kardashians. The whole family, Kanye, everybody. I love them.
I just feel like they're super fake. Like, they do anything to make money, and I don't really dig that because I don't like fake people. I feel like Khloe is probably one of the most realist ones out of the entire family.
You don't think Kim's real?
No.
But that ass, though.
That ass ain't real.
That ain't real, but if you listened, I don't think you got to hear the one of the episodes past, but my friend is a shaman here in the Tampa, Florida area. And
love shaman.
Yeah, he's a shaman, and he's got a store. And on the Kardashian show, they went and visited him. He's on the Keeping Up with the Kardashian show. And when you come, we'll have to... You might have met him. I can't remember if I took you.
Well, you took me to a store where you live, and that's where I bought my selenite crystal, remember?
Okay, that's...
Is it that store?
Yes, that's... I think... Well, maybe. I know I took you to a... We have a place by us that we bought a bunch of selenite. There's a place up closer to Tampa in Bradenton where this shaman is. So when you come next...
No, I wasn't there.
We're going to go visit him when you come next. And we do... Professor Bam and I do these meditations, and he does these classes. And I tell you what, he fucking hits this little thing and he rolls the thing and makes the sounds come out of this, I don't know, singing, what are they called?
The singing bowl.
Singing bowl. And we do these meditations. And I have physically, when I close my eyes, seen myself, this is weird, traveling through, it was purple all around me with vibrations. It looked like you were on a trip of acid or something during one of these meditations. And I was like, I can't believe I am awake and I'm here and I'm trying to like peek an eye open, but it looks like I'm going down this funnel of purple energy. It was really crazy.
Well, so the cool thing about sound vibrational therapy, like what you're talking about with the singing bowls, and sometimes they have like pitchforks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everybody resonates with a different frequency.
Yeah.
So depending on what frequency they're playing is going to depend on what experience you have. So like if you're doing like an individual session with somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll kind of know and be able to read their energy of what they vibe with. But in a group, it's a little bit harder to do, so that's pretty cool that, like, he hit your frequency.
Damn, he sure did. It was a fucking trip. I was soaring. And I'm sitting in the chair holding the fucking chair because I'm like, where am I going? This is insane. It was like imagine you're in a spaceship and there's a vortex around you spinning, and it's all this purple and, what's the other word for purple? I'm trying to think of it. Indigo, purple, violet energy just circling around. Crazy. Almost a blue purple. Really cool.
Yeah, indigo. That's a really good color to have.
Yeah.
You're doing that.
Oh, man, it was so cool. So definitely when you come back down, we're going there.
Okay.
Okay, so let me move it back onto these questions that all the fans are dying to know. Okay, next question. MJ,
Yeah.
what accomplishment are you most proud of?
Oh, that's hard.
It is hard. You can just say
That's a
an
hard
accomplishment. You
question.
don't have, you know what? You can take the easy way out. Just say an accomplishment. What's an accomplishment you're most proud of? I can think of some off the top of my head for you. I'm so proud of you.
Well, it's hard because I think of myself last, so I'm not really sure. I would say, I guess, overcoming the safety net of my previous business, making that decision to move forward into the unknown based off of my intuition, knowing it was the right thing to do. I know that's in depth.
I'm proud of you for
Does
that.
that make sense?
Yep, it makes sense. You're taking
Because I
it.
could have held on because that was my security, but I was like, you know what? It's time to move on, and I don't know what's next. And I made that decision based off my intuition. I'm trusting it right now.
Yep, I'm proud.
So
I'm
I'm
proud
pretty
of
proud
you.
of myself for that.
I'm proud of you for that too. Not everyone could do that. And when
What would
these,
you say?
for
Since
you,
you know me so well.
I'm proud of you for a lot of things. I'm proud of you. If I'm going all the way back, I'm proud of you back in school. I'm proud of you when you were a star softball and volleyball player. I'm proud of you at all your games. I would come to your games a lot, even if you didn't know. I was there a lot, watching you. I'm proud of you then. I'm proud of you for the way that you treated people when you were growing up. I'm proud of you. As you went on into life, you led by example. Okay, for a lot of
You know I
people.
have that tattoo on me.
Yeah, you have it tattooed on you. You literally led by example. You accomplished your goals. You went after stuff. I'm proud of the person that you are. I'm proud of. I think that you, for what you do, there's nobody like you. I would say, in the top 1%, but you're in the top 0.1% of what you do. And when you want to apply it, maybe not. We don't all walk in, and we're not all Superman all the time. But you literally, anytime when you choose, you have abilities that other people don't have, and you give that, and you have other things too, like what you were talking about on an earlier question about how you help people, how they come to you. They're all fucked up. These women come to you. They're all fucked up. They got all these problems, and you have a unique ability to help these people. And I'm proud of you. You've probably helped thousands and thousands of people over the years, and you've got people
I
straightened
certainly
out.
hope so.
You do. And you've helped me. I mean, weirdly, we have some type of connection where something's going on, because something will be
I
happening with
call you,
me.
or I text you all the time. I'm like,
What's
popped in my mind, what's up? And then there's usually something crazy that happens to you that day, or you're right
Yeah.
in the middle of something, and you're like, I'll call you back, or I
Mm-hmm.
get some message or vision about something, like for you.
Stories I won't even tell on the podcast, because you'll just think I'm crazy if I say them out. Say them out loud, like what I just said about the
I mean,
singing
it's so
bowl.
like, I feel like they would think I was crazier than you if we talked about it.
Yeah, we don't even bring that stuff up, but just know there's a lot of conspiracy theories regarding spirituality and things like that. And MJ and I, man, we've been friends for a long time, and she's been with me through thick and thin, and same with me to her. So we've done a lot of stuff, and I'm just proud of you for everything. I just think you're fucking amazing.
Well,
And
I'm proud of you for everything. I text you.
that's the next
a couple
question.
weeks ago.
The next question is, which of your friends are you proudest of, and why?
You. Are we vibing or what?
That's the next question. Which of your friends are you proudest of, and why?
You.
Why are you proud of me?
I'm proud of you because you've overcome a lot of things in your life that most people don't know about. You've always had a happy face for people. You've always put everyone else ahead of yourself. I'm proud of you because you always stayed positive amongst all the negatives that have happened. I'm proud of you for following your intuition when you didn't have a direction and coming through on top every time. I'm proud of you for just being you.
Just being me.
I think you're amazing.
That's so nice. Thank you.
There's so many things that, without getting into specific details, like there's so many things that I just sit back and go, I am so proud of him. Like, he's one of the strongest, most positive, successful people I know. Because he's one of the best people I know.
I sure try to be positive. It's hard sometimes. I get down too. I've had the past 2 years, I have been smashed, and I don't tell anybody. And you've known, I've come to you with some things, and I've talked about some things on the pod here, but man, I sure try to be. I can tell you that. I try to be. And even when I'm drowning, when things are really bad or when they seem bad, I really try to lift other people up around me, and I try to speak even if I don't feel it. Even if I'm walking into a situation and it feels like fucking hell and the fucking house is on fire, I say, it feels good in here. If it's cold outside, I say, damn, it's a nice temperature. I'm serious. When it's too hot, I say it's a perfect day. Yeah. I will tell myself the lie enough times that I believe it. I mean, I will, and that's a positive thing.
Lie.
Yeah, but I talk myself.
Lie.
Well, not a lie, but I mean, like, if it's the worst day at work, like I go into a fucking job, okay? Here's an example. I'm going into a job that sucks, and I always started telling myself when people ask me, how are you doing? I just say, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. And it tinges. People look at you funny and they're like, what do you mean you're excited to be here? And I just start, and when you start saying that enough times, even if you didn't believe it at the beginning, you'll start to believe it. And that's something that's positive self-talk. And people don't understand that. And even if you can go one way or the other, shit is bad. Things are bad. And you're in a fucked up situation. Don't tell yourself, man, I can't believe why, and all these bad things. Say, I'm a winner. I am going to win. Say all the positive things. I feel amazing. I'm super talented. I've been given gifts to overcome this stuff. I am here for a reason. When you start to tell yourself these positive things, and even if you don't believe it in that moment, when you say it 10,000 times, when someone says, how are you doing at a shitty job, and you tell them, I'm excited to be here, you start to pick everybody else up around you too. And they start to feel that positive energy. And I believe in energy. And you heard me say about the purple fucking vortex.
Yep.
I mean, but if you start to lift the energy in the room, people notice that. I walk into rooms with superstars, with Hollywood superstars. And you can ask Professor Bam about this. We've walked into rooms with people we know that are super famous, where everybody is around these people. I'm not going to say names. They're all like catering to them and doing all this. And as soon as we come in the room, there's some kind of energy that is like a fucking tornado. And everybody looks at you because then you're the positive energy. It's very weird. I don't know if I'm...
It's almost uncomfortable. I've had that happen to me, like, through radio and through traveling with the color company and met, famous people. Mm-hmm. And I don't really get starstruck because I feel like everyone just has a gift. Everyone has a reason for being here, right? Like, you have a purpose. So you show up to a place, and you walk in with your energy, right? And then sometimes you're a magnet, and a lot of these people come to you, and you're like, why am I getting all this attention? Like, this is kind of uncomfortable.
Energy.
But honestly, I mean, it's the law of attraction.
It is, and that's what I'm getting at. You speak it enough times, you say it enough times, you're in a fucked up situation. But if you keep saying, the house is too hot, obviously, but if you start saying, this is a perfect temperature, you start telling yourself this, you believe it. Right now, my house is cold as fuck right now. It's so cold, I don't have the heater on. And I tell myself over and over again, I like this temperature. This is nice. And you start to think of it. You start to teach yourself this. So be careful. Here's a pearl of wisdom if you care to hear it. But be careful of the words that you speak and the thoughts that you let yourself think. Even if it's
They become
there,
reality.
yes, it will. It can, and it will. It happens to me, and
I have something important to say when you're done.
say it. That's it. That's all.
Oh, okay. So, obviously the experiences that you go through in life, they're all about learning and growing and moving on. And then you take those experiences to help other people so they can learn and grow and move on, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've conquered several things throughout all of my shit show that I've went through, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Currently, where I'm at, which is really important, the message I got was to not exhaust yourself by turning negatives into positives.
Mm-hmm.
Because that can sometimes be exhausting when you're constantly taking a negative and turning it into a positive, and then you get run down because you're constantly trying to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
Just be happy where you are and know that where you are, you're there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So that's currently where I'm at, because I'm constantly like, oh, my house is on fire, like at least it's warm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this tree just fell over here. Well, at least there's other ones standing, right? And then you kind of exhaust yourself.
Yeah,
like,
you
try
could
to be positive all the time, and then you try to keep everybody else positive all the time. So then you get so run down that you don't have any energy to move forward. So, like, where I'm at currently in my life, that's my life lesson right now, is to not exhaust myself turning negative into positive, but being content with where I'm at.
That's a good place to be. There's certain times where I think you have to do that. You have to say, and I think you're in a unique position in your life where you've been going 100 miles an hour for 15 plus years, right?
Yeah.
It's been nonstop. You saw where you were going to go, and like a fucking missile, you were slamming through life doing it. Seriously.
Yeah.
And now we're in a weird situation, all of us. We're in a pandemic, or a pandemic, however you want to say it. And a lot of our businesses are affected. My businesses are affected. Your businesses are affected. Everybody I look at is affected, except like Amazon, who's making money hand over fist. So, but we're in a fucking weird time, and I think we're in a time of change, and we're in a time of where maybe it was time for you. You're in a spot where you're going to be making a big change in your life, and you need to just chill.
Well, basically, it's a time of identity crisis, because I've always known who I was. I've always known what I wanted to do. I always thought school was stupid because it didn't, prepare me for any of it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I did what I wanted to do. I was successful at what I wanted to do. And, the pandemic, however you think or feel about it, it's whatever. It's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an opportunity, and I seized the unexpected opportunity. And so now I'm sitting here going, now what? However, I'm grateful, because I always wanted balance in my life, but I never had balance in my life because I was always working. So it's kind of like a weird spot to be in, but I'm like really trying hard not to turn negatives into positives, and just trying really hard to be present and thankful.
Yep. I think that's fantastic. I think that's the best thing to do. I think that's all you can do,
Yeah.
In the situation you're in, we have times like that where even the best of us, even the Michael Jordans of the world, have a time. The MJs of the world have a time where
me, Michael Jackson,
yep.
Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
We got time.
Yep. You have a time where something changes, something happens. Michael Jordan retires from the Bulls at 35 years old. Doesn't know what he has no clue. He was in a really weird situation where he wanted to come back and play, and none of those things that seemed what he wanted, what he thought he wanted, nothing lined up for him. So then he went into a position like where you're in, where where's my life going to take me next? And from that moment,
Fun fact.
yeah, fun fact, go.
Fun fact, I'm also 35.
There you go. You're 35. He was 35 the summer after they won their 6th championship, and he thought he was going to come back again, but that's not how any of the stars aligned. And he didn't know. And from that point, so Michael Jordan, his net worth at that time and his life, he was a competitor. He was probably worth a couple $100 million. And then he was like, well, what am I going to do now? And he was unsure. And then what ended up happening is he's gone from a net worth of, 200 million and not knowing what to do with his life after being super successful like someone else I know named MJ, to now he's worth well over $1 billion, maybe multiple billion, maybe many billions. I want to say maybe
I can't wait to be worth many billions.
That's what I'm saying. So he went times 10. So he increased his value or his net worth by 10 times since that day of where he didn't know what was going to happen. He owns the team now instead of playing for the team. He owns an NBA team.
Yeah, and I mean, that was his identity at the time, right? He's Michael Jordan.
At the time, he was Michael Jordan.
From it, yeah.
Yep. Now he's he's still Michael Jordan, but now he's on a different path. And that you are in a place like that. You, MJ, are on a similar place where MJ was when he was done.
I'm excited.
And it was after 15 seasons. So you've done what you've done for about 15 years or so, right? Something like that.
Oh, yeah, about 16, yeah.
16, and it was similar for him, and he took a few years off. So you're in a similar place to the other MJ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. New things.
Yeah.
New opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. New things, new opportunities, and you just don't know what's going to be in store for you.
No, but I'm excited because I went off my intuition, knew it's what I had to do. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. Cool. That's amazing.
Now, Did I answer all your questions?
You answered a whole bunch of questions. Let me see. Yeah, we're way down. So we've done 11. we did 12 questions. I think that's pretty good. I mean, we could shut it down right now. I could ask you 90 more, but I mean, if you want to come on, I would love to have you back on as a podcast guest on the B Money Experience. Yeah, you should come back because I got about 90 more questions to ask you. But yeah, I'll let you go. Do your thing. I think you were a fantastic guest. It's been beautiful having you on. You're such a fantastic person. But yeah, good.
You're my favorite.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. So I love you too. So
I love you.
I'll let you go. I'm going to call Rose Clarity now, and we're going to start up the standard pod. So just know that you have been a superstar on the B Money Experience for 48 minutes and 30 seconds.
B Money.
B Money. Okay, MJ, I'll talk to you later.
All right, love you, bye.
Bye-bye. What a guest on the B Money podcast. MJ, she answered all the questions. She was fantastic. And we're going to try to get a hold of Rose Clarity now. It's going to take me just a minute, Rose, if you're listening. I got to log in on my Snapchat. And hang with me just a second. Rose, comment if you can hear me. Comment if you're ready to receive a call from me on Snapchat. I'm waiting. Waiting for your comment. Okay, Rose says, yep. Okay, Rose, it's still logging in, so just hang tight with me. Almost there. Snapchat makes me log in every time. Here's what I don't like. Now, maybe some people do like it. They like their privacy. but I got to log in every single time. And then it takes... Oh, okay, hold on. I'm not even connected. I'm like, why is this not logging in? The internet's not working at all. Okay, so let's try this again. And all of you Benona Buck Experience fans out there that are so excited, we're so excited to hear from MJ. What an interview. What a great podcast guest. Can you believe it? I've been friends with her since I was 17. Since 99, 2000-ish. Rose Clarity says WTF. Hold on, Rose. I got your WTF. I'm trying to log in. I'm trying to get to this. I'm almost there. I'm calling you now. Pick up, Rose. Pick up, pick up, pick up.
Hello.
Hey, Rose. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm setting up the pod.
I've got a question for you real quick.
Yo, okay, go.
If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
I would be, remember the seeds that I ordered that I did not plant last year?
Sure.
That are giant redwood trees? I would definitely be the largest, roundest, thickest, tallest giant redwood tree in Michigan. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, good to have you on. I don't know how I didn't really do a sound check. I just took your advice that it sounded good. So you could hear MJ the whole time?
Yeah. Let me do a sound check real quick for me.
Yeah, do a sound check. I actually got a message towards the end of the interview with MJ, and it could be her energy. She's very powerful. But it started saying that the internet connection was not good enough to stream the video. Did you have any problems seeing the video stream?
Yeah, it's kind of stopping and starting a bit. So.
It's stopping
Right
and
now,
starting
you're
right now?
good about the giant redwood tree. Let me exit out and go back in, and I'll probably be more current on the stream. But yeah, it's been stopping briefly here and there.
It's stopping and starting right now.
Okay, I can hear myself okay.
The podcast has been stopping during the pod.
It freezes and does that little spinny thing occasionally. I don't know if it would be doing it for everybody else or whatnot, but...
Okay. No, it probably was. I got a message right towards the end of MJ's interview, and it said the internet wasn't working. I don't know what could be happening. I just checked it now. I'm at 100 megabytes download, so hopefully it's still working. Shit happens when you do a podcast. If it wasn't perfect, whatever. We'll do it again. What a great interview, though. What a great person. If you get a chance to know her, you'll be lucky. She's a really, really cool person. And she's been a friend for a long time. So I am 38 years old. I've known her since I was like 17, I want to say. Something like that. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you said, I got your message, the comment that said you have a lot of good stuff for the pod.
Yep.
What you got?
The question is, I don't know which topic to start with.
Not sure which topic to start with. Well, what kind of topics do you have?
I've got an article from Newsweek.
Okay.
The largest asteroid to fly past Earth in 2021, potentially hazardous. Here's why.
I want to hear it. Yeah, tell me about that.
This is by Aristos Georgiou. Okay, from February 5th. On March 21st, the largest known asteroid to fly past Earth in 2021 will make a close approach to our planet. Hold on, let me close this ad. Stupid ads. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Okay. The enormous space rock, known as 2000 FO32, is one of numerous near-Earth objects, or NEOs, that orbit the Sun in our cosmic neighborhood. The term refers to objects with trajectories that can take them within 30 million miles of Earth's orbital path around the Sun. According to NASA's Center for Near-Earth Objects, or CNEOS, around 25,000 NEOs have been identified to date. The vast majority are asteroids, and a handful are comets. More than 2,100 of these near-Earth objects are classified as potentially hazardous. But what does the term actually mean? This goes into what it means, and potentially hazardous NEOs are those with within 4.6 miles. So those are the potentially hazardous ones. So the asteroid 2001 FO32 meets both these criteria. The other criteria was Earth crossing, or they might eventually evolve into Earth crossing orbits. Okay, so it meets both those criteria. The CNEOS, which are based at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, estimates that it measures between 2,526 feet, or 0.47 miles, and 5,577 feet, 1.05 miles in diameter. On March 21st, the rock will come within about 1.3 million miles of our planet at 11:03 a.m. Eastern Time during its close approach. NASA has had several asteroid search programs that scan the skies every night. Once near-Earth objects are discovered, astronomers monitor them to understand their orbits and assess the chances they could strike our planet. Astronomers have already identified more than 95% of the really large asteroids measuring 1 kilometer or 0.62 miles in diameter and larger, and none of them has a significant chance of colliding with Earth over the next century, according to CHODAS. As it flies past the Earth, 2001 FO32 will be traveling at a staggering speed relative to the Earth at the time of its close approach, around 76,980 miles per hour. This is around 100 times faster than the speed of sound, and roughly a third as fast as a bolt of lightning when it travels from the atmosphere to the ground. The asteroid is the fastest traveling space rock to fly past Earth this year. Anyway, so that's the article.
That's crazy.
Got a space rock.
I did a teaching program with the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. When was that? Do you remember I sent you the stuff on it? Was that a month or two ago? A couple months ago.
I don't remember.
Yeah. They got some crazy... They're able to view all kinds of stuff from the JPL. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. That's an interesting article. That's up my alley, Rose. I love that.
I figured it'd be interesting.
I love
and
that.
We also have several people who are regulars in our audience that get their news just from us. So there's an asteroid hurtling towards us.
Well,
big news.
I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of the asteroid, but I'm so thankful that you read the news because I love that. And like what you read the climate change stuff yesterday, that was so cool. Yeah. And Professor Bam listened to the podcast. And she was laughing real hard when we were yelling, "How dare you! How dare you! How dare you!"
How dare you! Right.
She was laughing. Yeah, she was very startled in the moment because she was asleep, and I woke her up.
Yeah.
But
how you?
Climate change bad, Elite Edge says. Hey, what up, Elite Edge? I heard you might be joining us tonight a little later. I can't wait. I got a whole bunch of questions.
Not tonight.
Oh, tomorrow.
Not tonight.
Tomorrow. Our guest tomorrow is going to be Elite Edge. Maybe. We don't really know. We're not sure where the winds are going to blow. So I got all these questions to ask you when you come on the pod.
We're hoping.
Yeah, I'm going to interview you. I'm an interviewer, and I'm going to get good at it. I'm going to ask you so many questions, it's going to blow your mind.
I think we really ought to just have him on as like a third chair. You know?
Yeah. We can do that. I mean, we can do three people. We did it with Gibby and you, but then it's hard. We got to all figure out when we're going to talk and stuff, and usually you and the person on the phone at the same time. Now, that worked okay, but it was also sort of difficult, so.
Well, usually I don't have as much trouble hearing the other person as they do hearing me, so.
Yeah.
Also, we have the advantage that if he doesn't hear me, I can always shoot him a message.
What's probably a good idea is doing a three-way phone call using the phone, like how I just did with MJ. So we could do like a three-way call, and then everybody would be on, and it wouldn't be, no one would have a hard time hearing. We could all hear. You know, I think that's probably the way to do it. And I'll try to get like that app that you said on my tablet, so that we can do calls from the tablet.
Right.
I might have Google Voice or something on the tablet though already, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm not certain if you can do three-way calls with an app like that.
I don't know. I know I could on Hangouts back in the day, Google Hangouts. What else you got? Tell me more about the news. And if you don't, I want to go directly into Soap's Nice portion, and I want to hear about.
Stop with the soaps. We don't want to do soaps every day.
This is the leading soap making podcast on the internet.
You're wasting people's time.
Nobody does more hours than us talking about soap. We already did a full hour the other day. We talked about it yesterday. Sure, there's a soap queen. There's people out there that think they're so good at soap.
To get to. We already did an hour on that. Anybody can go back
I'm ready.
to that podcast.
I'm ready for soap. Okay?
I don't want to get into it.
I'm ready for soap. I have a lot of questions about like what soap should be used before surgery. What soap is the best after making love with a man-on-man love action? What's the best soap? That's what I want to know. What happens if you drop a homemade soap in a locker room full of guys? You know, who dropped the soap?
You would be the one to know that.
Soap's Nice. That's the podcast name.
I've never been in a guy's locker room. You have.
Yep, Soap's Nice. Elite Edge says, I'm good with whatever, baby. He said the word.
The timing of reading that comment is very strange.
I'm good with whatever, baby. Hey, he says it. He's down with the soap being dropped. I didn't say it.
He was referring to whenever we want to have him on as a guest. He's not referring to any of these weird things you've been talking about.
He's laughing. That means it's true. It's funny because it's true. Have you ever heard of that saying?
No, that comment is old. It's been there for a while, long before you started talking about dropping the soap.
Okay, whatever you say there, Rose.
From CNN, Christina Zdanowicz and Chris Boyett write, Wisconsin teachers put on administrative leave after asking students how they would punish slaves.
Ha! They did not. This is real? They asked them that?
Teachers at a Wisconsin middle school
Those racists.
have been placed on administrative leave after an unapproved lesson about slavery upset families. Sixth graders at Patrick Marsh Middle School in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, received an assignment about ancient Mesopotamia that asked the question about how a slave should be treated. The school's principal said in a letter to students on Monday, "A slave stands before you. This slave has disrespected his master by telling him, 'You are not my master. How will you punish this slave?'" The assignment read, according to a parent who shared a photo on her Facebook page. The punishment? According to Hammurabi's code, put to death, the assignment read. The question was related to the Code of Hammurabi, the code of law that set punishments and fines in the ancient region of Mesopotamia.
Okay, hold on. So the thing is, they learned what these people did. The question wasn't, you need to come up with your own way to do this. It's a multiple choice question, probably.
Hey, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
If you were a slave master, what kind of slave master would you be?
Yeah, I would be a very kind slave master, and I would free my slaves. I would free them, and I would employ them.
I wouldn't be a slave master, you asshole.
Yeah, I would. If I was I would be a kind one, and I would free the slaves, and then I would ask them if they would like to work with me for a fair wage.
Let's see.
Yep, that's what I would do.
Anyhow, so the Sun Prairie Area School District apologized in a letter sent to all families in the district on February 1st. We are writing today to apologize for the grave error and judgment that occurred during 6th grade social studies instruction at
It was
Patrick
6th
Marsh
grade
Middle
too, huh?
School. Yeah. The
Damn.
district wrote in the letter, a small group of our teachers developed and used an activity that was neither racially conscious nor aligned with our district mission, vision, values, curriculum, or district equity statement. The district stopped instruction of the lesson and is investigating the incident, it said in the letter. The teachers involved with the lesson have been placed on administrative leave, the district wrote. Our preliminary feelings, in our preliminary findings, we have determined the lesson was not part of our district curriculum, and therefore no student should participate in or complete the assignment, the letter read. The staff issued a direct apology to the students in their class and their families. Anyhow, so that's that.
That's interesting. What's your thoughts? I think that it was something they learned in the class about the way that the people discipline their slaves. I think it was badly worded. I think it was probably supposed to be some type of multiple choice question, right? Or did they just, it was something they learned that they needed to write out.
If they'd word it, how would a slave typically be punished in these times?
Right, not how would you do it, as if you need to come up with some way. Yep.
Not how would you punish your slave if he told you you weren't his master.
Yep, I think that was worded incorrectly.
Right.
And I think it creates confusion. And that teacher should be punished for being a very, very stupid person. Okay? I bet they're a Republican too. Racist.
Huh? I don't know. Maybe.
Probably. All the racists I know are Republicans.
Okay, let's quickly move on to another article because you've used up an hour of our time for articles. Not that you used it up. It was a great interview.
What the fuck are you talking about, used up?
But you
The hell are you talking about, I used up?
A short period of time. What?
What?
It's like, I don't know. You just like to shorten our time every night.
Our time's not short and we're fine. I'm playing video games. Go ahead and talk. Talk about whatever you want. When you don't have anything else to talk about, we'll shut it down. Until then, go ahead and do it.
Talk about soap for an hour the other night. I didn't want to do that.
I do. I love talking about soap. I can't wait to be... I want to be the soap mogul of Michigan.
Yeah, but you're also the one that keeps telling us we need to do shorter podcasts.
Well, tonight, it doesn't have to be short today. You'll be fine. Just go with whatever. Don't worry. I'm not going to cut you off.
Okay. A masculinity crisis.
What time is it, by the way? What time do we have?
9:50.
Oh, I got 10 minutes. So go ahead and say anything you want within 10 minutes.
If you're going to do that, that, we might as well just...
I'm kidding,
I
Rose.
just got out here. You told me you'd call me at 9.
Oh gosh, that's funny. What I might do is this, because I have to feed Professor Bam probably at 11. So we'll go until like 10:30, 10:45. Go for another hour or so. Does that sound good?
I don't know. To get to everything I had planned for tonight before you surprised me with this interview, I would probably need until midnight, but, you know.
Oh, well, just save it for the following day then. You know, anything we don't get to today.
Well, a lot of this is more current. A lot of it is, yeah. I don't know.
Missing a lot of layups. Go ahead. Go with it. Take your time. I won't say anything else today. I'll save everything that I had for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the floor is yours.
I had a great podcast planned, and you basically snipped my time off incredibly.
You should
That's
start
all
your
I'm
own
saying.
podcast then. Because Benona Buck had an interview today with a great guest on the Benona Buck podcast.
No offense, but you asked her really dumb questions.
Oh, she enjoyed it.
I think she did well. I would actually have probably enjoyed interviewing her myself. But some of those questions you were asking were like major, floofy...
They're from the Huffington Post. What are you going to do?
Questions.
They're from the Huffington Post. What do you think it's going to be?
Is a stupid publication, and you're well aware of this.
Well, I enjoyed listening to her answers. I thought they were cool. And she's an amazing person. Doesn't matter what questions you ask when you have such an amazing guest such as that. If you have somebody on with that caliber, man.
There was potential for a lot more interesting discussions to be had.
Okay, well, I think it was a great interview.
Did you play with as a kid? Really?
Yeah, I like it. It's a good question.
Giving her a psych evaluation? What is going on?
Yeah, that's where that question leads. It leads you to think. So I'm interested. I think it's good, and I like the interview that I did, and I like everything about it. So I appreciate your feedback, and I appreciate you being a guest on my podcast every day. It's nice of you.
Guest on your podcast?
Yep. I appreciate you.
Well, so our listeners know, if you found the first 40 minutes of this podcast to be strange and boring, you could have that every day.
I guess you could, yeah. Yep, I guess you could have that every day on the Benona Buck podcast. Yep, when someone creates a podcast and they want to do something with it, they can do that. If they want to have a guest on and they want to ask certain questions, I looked at the questions beforehand.
Together until you put your name all over it.
Yeah, my idea, my podcast. You're a guest. You can have a nice tall glass of Shut the Hell Up. And if you don't want to, you don't have to be on my podcast. We talk every night. That was the idea. If you don't want to be on my podcast, you can have your own Soap's Nice podcast.
Not about that. It's about you being very, very selfish and you not communicating with me about what's going on.
What do you mean selfish?
You telling me one thing and then changing it at the last minute.
What did I tell you? I called you ahead of time and I said, I'm going to interview MJ and I will call you after this time.
I've been waiting to go on. I'm sitting here waiting for the podcast to start. You call me right before it starts and says, I'm not calling you till 9:30 because I have a guest. Like, okay. And then 9:30 comes around. And then 9:40. And then it's almost 10 o'clock. And you still have, and...
Okay.
You have this time limit. You have this time. I don't have time limits. I could be here till 2 in the morning.
This is really funny. I appreciate you, Rose. I appreciate you every day. I appreciate you every day. I appreciate all that you contribute to the Benona Buck podcast. You're a great contributor. Yeah, you are. And I always tell, every single time we're on this, I let you know, you can do anything you want. If you want to read articles or things that you think are interesting, go for it. Take it up. And if not, I'll have things that I'll talk about, or we can talk about, just shoot the shit like we normally do. Every time I come on, it's almost zero preparation. for me. I just do a little bit of preparation, like grab
Yeah,
some
it
interview
shows.
questions.
It definitely shows.
Well, that's cool. I mean, the people that are listening to this are messaging me privately and saying I'm really enjoying it. Yep, they enjoy it. So
I'm sure they
I
are.
think people will enjoy the interview with MJ. I asked some weird, interesting
I
questions.
really enjoyed hearing what MJ had to say. I'm just saying the questions you were asking her were really super for you. I can't say the word. Ridiculous.
Oh, I think they were fine. They were interesting, not things that I would typically think of. So that's
Especially when we're on a format that you want to put on a time limit.
okay. Yeah, I just have a limit of 2 to 3 hours usually. I have things I have to do. I have a job. I have multiple
It's
jobs.
2 hours.
My
We're
wife's
1
had
hour and
surgery.
15
I have to
minutes
take
right
care
now.
of
That
her.
gives me 45 minutes to do anything, and you've wasted 10 minutes of it by continuing this fight when we could just go on.
I'm not in a fight. I think it's funny. Oh, Elite Edge says she hates
I'm sure you
spontaneous
do. You
things.
always think it's funny when you shortchange me or mess with me. You think it's hilarious.
Why do you
Always
think
have.
that you're shortchanged, Rose? What makes you feel that way? Why do you feel shortchanged? What makes you feel shortchanged? Rose,
Oh, God.
what makes you feel shortchanged?
All the
That's,
time?
huh?
Things you do, all the things you often do, the way you keep shoving it in my face. It's the Benona podcast. It's
Well,
the
here's
Benona
why.
podcast.
Here's why. I
It's
just want to say this. I would never say that to you. But also, hold on.
You did 10
Hold
minutes
on.
ago.
Hold on. I'll explain myself. The reason why I say that
10
is
minutes ago.
you are yelling at me and telling me what to do, okay? And you're giving me a lot of
I'm
feedback.
explaining to you
Listen,
that you only allow our audience 2 hours of time.
you're
And
giving
you wanna
me
split up
you're giving me a lot of
You're
feedback,
asking
okay?
wacky questions about
Okay.
toys.
Well, I have no negative feedback for you. I haven't given you any. Okay? It is what it is. The reason why I say what I do in response to you is because
I'm an eldest brother. This
you're
is
giving me a
hilarious.
lot of feedback. Okay? You are. You just give me a lot of feedback. So that's the
And
answer.
it's great
The
how
answer
you
is
put me on the spot with
shut the
this
hell
time
up.
that you cut off. When I spent my day trying to make sure that we would have an interesting time, talk about current relevant topics that I
Good.
don't necessarily want to put off till tomorrow. I do have an article from like weeks ago that I put off. I'm probably never going to use it now.
Okay, well, I mean, you can talk about anything you want. Right now, you're choosing to talk about this, and I'm open to that too. It's fine.
Okay?
Whatever you
You're
want.
still wasting the time that you have a limit on.
Time is finite. That's something you got to remember. Our time is so valuable. So go ahead. Talk about the things you want to talk about. I support you 100%. Okay, a lot of these podcasts are.
I don't know. No, do not say you support me 100% when it's absolutely clear that you don't. Why? It's an obvious lie, and everybody listening knows that by now.
They know that I don't support you to talk about anything you wish. I do every time. You say an article, I say that sounds great. Teach me about it. I would love to hear.
You're like a weird cross between Peter Griffin and Tom Cruise.
Okay. Well, go ahead with whatever you want to talk about. We have plenty of time.
Well, the thing is, I'm sitting here picking articles that I think you'll find relevant. When honestly, if we're gonna play this game, maybe I shouldn't.
Well, I don't know. I like it when you find things that I find relevant. That's nice. Yeah. Because then I can have more of a conversation with you about it. I enjoy it. I enjoyed the last thing you talked about. I'm sure Elite Edge did too.
Well, when you piss me off.
Well, that's not hard to do. You can get pissed off at the drop of a hat.
Oh, no. I can get pissed off at you at the drop of a hat. When you play games. When you cut my
I'm
time
literally
off.
playing a video game.
When you trick me. When you don't tell me what's going on, when you keep me in the dark about things, and then, poop, surprise. Wow. Okay, everything's completely different than it was supposed to be 40 minutes ago. Yeah, I like things to be the way they are, the way they usually are. I don't like to be surprised. And you keep doing this thing where you say, Elite Edge is coming on tonight. I made it very clear to you tomorrow, because I don't spring things on people like, surprise.
Oh, I thought you said today. No big deal.
I was very
And I'm good
clear
with it. I
every
mean,
time
if you...
spoke to you, said it would be tomorrow.
Yeah, well, sometimes things work that way. You don't know how it's all going to shake out. So if you contact me and you say you want someone to come on and be a guest, that'd be great. Have them come on. I don't have any problem. I'm totally open to almost anything.
Make sure it's clear with the other person and everybody involved, and I did the work today so that I don't have to surprise anybody tomorrow. You know? Which you never do.
I see.
You just like to pop in on everybody and...
Well, I appreciate all your feedback. Thanks. Thank you for all the feedback. It seems constructive and well thought out. Yep.
Not necessarily. I'm not thinking clearly right now because you keep on stressing me the fuck out.
Well, I don't know how that's happening, but my thorough apologies to you on that. Yep, I don't know how it's happening, but we can move on if you want to if you want to take a break. Yeah, if you want to go have a cigarette and come back and have a breather.
No.
I got something I can read, or if you want to read some more news.
More time?
What? Say it again. Take up more time? No, go ahead.
More time?
No, go ahead with whatever you want to talk about. I'm open to it.
I read a stupid article about the masculinity crisis in China that I'm throwing out. I don't want to do that one.
Okay.
But they're turning the fish gay. We'll not talk about it.
Turning the frogs gay.
You don't get to talk about that now. It's me punishing you. You don't get to talk about the gay fish now.
Well, it sounds like an Alex Jones podcast, and we know that Alex Jones is evil, and we don't want to talk about him.
This is from the New York Times, and I'm not gonna read it to you. I'm not even gonna give you that.
Elite Edge says we got a stupid amount of snow last night. Thank you, Elite Edge. I've been waiting for those videos of the snow from Rose, but we didn't get anything.
Snow. And no, you're not getting videos.
Yeah.
Not for me, anyhow.
Thanks, Elite Edge.
You don't deserve me going and looking up how to get our podcast on other fucking formats either.
Elite Edge, if you could always send it to, well, you could do two things. You could use your Google Drive, and you could send it to benonabuck@gmail.com, and you can send me a video link. And I will put it on if I can, I'll upload it and put it on the podcast channel. Yep.
Okay, here's an article.
All right.
This is related to something we talked about the other night. This is from Express, and it's written by Stefan Kiriazis. I can't read it.
Stefan something or other.
Kiriazis. Michael Jackson, California Attorney General, blasts fake songs families say cheated fans. And this was written February 5th.
Really? This is a new article. February 5th of this year?
Yeah.
What's the date today? Isn't that today?
I believe so.
Wow. Okay, read it. Go, please.
I told you the other day that there's been new developments in the case, but you weren't hearing me apparently.
I hear you. Go ahead and read it. That's great.
There was extraordinary excitement when three previously unheard, and this is gonna go over some of the legal issues involved with all that.
It sounds like the podcast is really making a difference in the world. We brought it up, and then this is happening. You know, it's no coincidence.
Okay. There was extraordinary excitement when three previously unheard tracks were unearthed after the star's death. The songs Breaking News, Monster, and Keep Your Head Up were included on the posthumous album Michael, with reports that Sony had also bought another 9 tracks from the two producers who claims to have made secret recordings. Hold on, let me find my...
Elite Edge says you should put the contact info in the description. It's on the description of the channel. So if you go to the channel, you can actually contact us there. It shows the email.
Okay.
BenonaBuck@gmail.com. BENONABUCK@gmail.com. Contact us there. And also visit DannyDuncan69.com and get your Virginity Rock shirt.
Right in the middle of an article that you were so eager to hear.
I am.
I don't give a fuck about Danny Duncan right now.
Okay, go ahead with the article.
Give a fuck about him at any time. So,
Okay, go ahead with the article. This is ridiculous. Go ahead.
Of course it is. You're ridiculous.
No, you yelling at me is ridiculous. Go ahead and continue. This is great. Good news.
Two producers who claim to have made a Well, you keep interrupting me, and yet you yell at me and say horrible things to me when I interrupt you. That's a little bit...
I do. I'm just being fun. I also want you to know that when I say jokes like "have a nice glass of shut the hell up," I'm just joking. I'm just kidding.
I'm reclaiming my fucking time. Shut up.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Okay.
Cocaine and hookers was a joke too. It wasn't real. Professor Bam even noticed that it was a joke and laughed.
In 2014, a fan went to court. Okay, hold on. Okay. You fucked me up. Thank you. Two producers who claim to have made secret recordings with the star. In 2014, a fan went to court in California claiming it was not MJ's voice on all the 3 songs. At the time, legal documents filed said Sony Music and the Michael Jackson estate conceded in trial court that Jackson may not have been the singer. The court documents added that the two producers, Eddie Cascio and James Port, claimed that Jackson recorded these songs in the basement of their house in 2007 without any witnesses. The fan, Vera Sarova, went to court alleging the 3 songs were actually performed by an impersonator and says that she has forensic audio evidence to prove the vocals very likely did not belong to Jackson. Over the years, many others, including Jackson's nephews, Terrell and TJ, have also argued that the star's voice clearly sounds different on the tracks in question and asked why there are no outtakes with extra vocals or Jackson speaking in between the takes. The producers explained he had sung in a homemade sound booth in their basement using PVC pipes, and vocals at the time were only intended to be rough guides for the demos.
Wow, they're very intricate on their fake falsities. They're even better than the fucking water main break in Atlanta. This is more believable.
That's because, hey, these falsities are being made up by people who knew him personally, so it's easy.
Yeah.
When they first heard the tracks, members of Jackson's own family, like Terrell and TJ, Tito Jackson's sons, questioned their authenticity. The lack of physical evidence for the sessions was blamed on the star's obsession with privacy, meaning he would not permit photos or video footage to be shot, which there's tons of video footage of him recording stuff. Furthermore, it was claimed that any outtakes and discarded versions had been wiped in order to clear space on a hard drive. I wonder if they used bleach bits.
I wonder if they used hammers to smash them. Did they do like Hillary Clinton did and just smash them with hammers? That's very trustworthy. If you want to be trustworthy, smash your things with hammers. It makes us think that you want us to know all the truth, the real truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interviewed by Oprah Winfrey, who's a hoe. Not a hoe. Hoe isn't the right word. Evil succubus bitch might be the right word. I'm not sure yet. Cascio said, "It is Michael's voice. He recorded it right there in my basement." Jackson Estate declared they played the recordings to producers and musicians who had worked with the star, who all agreed it was his voice. One of them was Corey Rooney, who has worked with MJ, Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez, and Destiny's Child. He said, "I have read the statement from the MJ estate, and I have to say that it's just more bullshit. I was in that room, and the majority of the people mentioned did not agree that it was MJ. Michael's nephew Terrell said, I am shocked that things have gotten this far. This is ridiculous. I tried so hard to prevent this craziness, but they wouldn't listen. I know my uncle's voice, and something's seriously wrong when you have immediate family saying it's not him.
It's not him.
They can't give me answers, yet continue to move forward with lies and deception. Sounding like Michael Jackson and being Michael Jackson are two different things.
Right, it's Jason Malachi. We know.
Teddy Riley, who this article refers to as Terry Riley, who produced the Michael album, also talked to Oprah in 2010 about the controversy and said, "This is Michael's voice." Terrell responded, after hearing him lie on Oprah, "I'm terribly disappointed." Terrell's brother TJ added, "There's many MJ vocal impersonators, some better than others, but there's only one Michael Jackson. Why they would ignore the obvious, look the other way, and rush a suspicious track that was never on my uncle's radar is beyond me. I'm disgusted, disappointed, and saddened. We all know how much he valued his legacy and his fans, and cheating either is unacceptable. Lies run sprints, but the truth runs marathons." And now, 7 years after the case began, California General Xavier Becerra has just thrown his support behind Sorova's claim and filed a motion, an amicus brief, with his state Supreme Court. The case hinges on whether a company should be allowed to label a product, in this case a CD, with information that may not be entirely true or accurate. It seems cut and dried, but when the case reached the courts in 2016, Sony argued that it had taken the producer's claims on good faith. Furthermore, the label said that calling Jackson the vocals on the songs was an act of, quote, artistic expression, not, quote, commercial speech, and therefore protected under their constitutional right to freedom of speech.
Wrong.
At the time, the presiding judge, Ann Jones, says, "What's problematic is that you're ripping people off under your admitted facts." She ruled that the case should go to trial, and now the state's attorney general has weighed in with a blistering public statement and legal motion to his Supreme Court. Becerra's public statement pulled no punches. Sony's overly broad interpretation of the First Amendment fails to protect consumers by enabling companies from a wide array of industries to make false or misleading claims about their products and then declare ignorance of the misrepresentation. Sony argues that it can't be held liable because it didn't record the tracks itself, rather it purchased them from other producers and didn't know whether or not the songs were actually performed by Jackson. Sony argues that even if Jackson didn't sing the songs, the purchasers who relied on that claim have no remedy under California false advertising laws. Becerra added, "Truth in advertising is rooted in the most basic contract between a seller and a consumer. Products must deliver on their claims. If someone buys an album from a recording artist, they should expect the songs on that album were made by that artist unless noted otherwise. We must hold companies accountable to stand by their products. Companies have a First Amendment right to communicate, but their claims must be informed and accurate." A strongly worded public statement warned that Sony's defense has absurd broad consequences for consumers.
Interesting.
And that's the article. What do you think of that?
I think it's obvious that it's Jason Malachi. Just what we talked about. And I think that the people who did this should be fined substantially. It's a consumer issue. It really is. You can't lie to the people that are buying your product.
Now the question is, like,
can you sell,
Sony
like what
and
happened?
The estate does have a point.
What about Milli
They
Vanilli?
don't have.
Milli Vanilli. Wasn't them singing.
I was speaking.
Yeah, wasn't Milli Vanilli singing. It's the same thing.
So anyway, my point that I was trying to I was asking or talking, and you interrupted me, and I hate this that you do that. The estate and Sony do have a point that they don't have any means of repercussion against Eddie Cascio and James Port. who provided them with these false tracks. Shouldn't they be able to sue those two? But they don't have any money, so there would be no point. But yet, the estate and Sony are getting sued for this.
How much did they get paid for the songs?
Huh?
How much did they get paid for the music, for the songs? How much did Jason Malachi get paid?
They made sure that they get a producing and writing credit on these songs, so I don't know.
Oh, they did it. They produced and wrote the songs. And Jason Malachi sang the songs well for Jason Malachi. He didn't sing them well for Michael Jackson.
If they wanted to put that album together, and at the bottom of the track list, they wanted to say, bonus tracks, Michael Jackson tributes performed by Jason Malachi, I would have been fine with that. How about you?
Yeah. I think that sounds perfect. That's the way to do it. Michael is on those songs. They may have even been songs that Michael wrote. Maybe they had little clips of Michael. It wasn't good enough, but they wanted to do something with them. Yeah. Yep. And they could be playing him below Malachi. They could have used the Michael track, and Malachi could have sang over the track. We don't know, but you can put
song verses and chorus.
well, you can't hear it if they put Michael at a 10 and they put Malachi at a 100. You're going to hear Malachi. Michael could be in there. I'm not hearing it.
Here's the thing. Hush for one moment. Let me speak because I know what I'm talking about. All right. The thing about what you're saying is there's instances where Michael did background vocals for other artists. And as much as he thought he was, hiding in the background, he thought he'd do something on the sly and people wouldn't know it was him. You always can hear his voice. You always know it's him. You can go listen to Saida Garrett's Groove of Midnight. You can go listen to, what is it? I can't remember the name of the song. It's a Kenny Loggins thing he did background vocals on. He did background vocals on stuff for Diana Ross, too. But you listen to it and you can hear him, He's like, look at me, I'm blending in the background. You can't hear me. You don't know it's me. Yeah, you can. You can. So if that lyric, if him singing those lyrics was there, you'd hear it. But you don't. You don't hear it. So it's not in there. I'm pretty certain it's not in there.
Yeah, well.
You can try to play devil's advocate and say maybe it is, but I don't hear it.
I don't hear it either. I'm just saying maybe it is. Maybe Michael wrote the songs. Maybe Michael did some of the recordings. Maybe those recordings weren't that good. I don't know. But I think you definitely need to say when you have Jason Malachi sing the songs. Okay? His name should be on the songs. It should say performed by Jason Malachi. It should say written by Michael Jackson. Inspired by Michael Jackson, whatever you want to say, but like you said before, a tribute, maybe they could do it like that. That's fine. I'm good with that.
Okay.
That's the kind of the way I look at him now when I listen to him, as a tribute. And they did a hell of a job. It's not on a Michael Jackson standard. Not even close.
I agree.
I do like Keep Your Head Up. It's such a good song. I would love to have heard MJ sing it. Michael Jackson MJ. Not our MJ.
The thing is, I don't even know if I would want to hear Michael Jackson sing that. You know who would sing that well?
R. Kelly?
Nick Lachey.
R. Kelly would sing it really well. Who doesn't like R. Kelly? You asked me. Ask me the same questions.
Or the Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah, I love that. Backstreet. They could sing it well. I think R. Kelly. I think Usher would sing that song really well. I think Usher should sing that song. Honestly, he could do that song so well. Who's that guy on the Masked Singer? Who was the guy we really liked on the Masked Singer? He was a rapper, but he's a singer.
I'm not certain. I think Lil Wayne was on there.
Lil Wayne was, but wasn't there somebody else that?
Yeah.
Akon, not Akon.
T-Pain.
T-fucking-Pain. Imagine if T-Pain remixed that song. He would do real good with that song. For sure.
Yeah, especially if it was him singing, because
Imagine.
he can actually sing.
Imagine T-Pain doing that fucking song with like
Right.
a really good rapper too on the track with him.
Yeah.
And they do a couple. They do some rap verses, or maybe damn, it's going places in my mind. Explosions. I was gonna say Jay-Z, but really any really good rapper that's on there with T-Pain would be really good. It could even be a woman. I just heard Cardi B's new track today. Talking, I think it's like the Viagra theme song. Did you happen to see that at all?
New track.
Did you see Cardi B's new music video? Came out today. There's a lot of ass shaking on that video.
So
Damn.
let's move on, since you've clipped our time to so little time. We don't have a lot of time. Let's move on.
I've clipped our
I
time.
don't care to listen to you talk about Cardi B.
Yeah, Cardi B's good. I'm just talking about that Michael Jackson song, how I could see it remade.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead. What else you got?
You don't
What
have
you
a
want to
lot of
talk
time.
about?
You can't go on about Cardi B for 10 minutes. Okay.
You just gotta chill out.
11 worst.
Just chill out. Relax.
Nah.
See what my shirt says on this game?
I don't care. We've got an article from fucking Screen Rant, okay? Shut up. This is 11 worst superhero movies of all time by Rose Moore.
Oh, we're gonna do. I would
Number
save that
15,
one. Save that one.
2015.
I would save that article for sure.
For when?
I would save it. I would probably save it for tomorrow.
That you haven't guaranteed is already going to be shit.
No, I mean, because if it's a post like that, that's not a like current event thing. I would save it for tomorrow. If you got so many things to go to, go ahead, save it.
I threw away the one about the gay fish. You don't get that one.
Well, I don't care. If you want to talk about gay fish, talk about it tomorrow.
Nope, I actually got rid of that entirely. We're never talking about it.
Okay, whatever you say.
Never. We're never, ever talking about it.
Whatever you want,
Even
Rose.
though
Talk about whatever you want.
The New York Times confirms it entirely.
Wow, okay. Cool, man. I'm ready
So
whenever
I don't know
you
what
are.
to do now.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever you are.
I have no idea what to do. I have no idea how much more time we have. I figured we'd do a list, but
Oh,
no, you don't
go
wanna do
ahead.
a list.
Go ahead with the list then. I just want to make sure, you
What
know.
the fuck are we doing? You're ruining the whole thing.
Why am I ruining it? Why am I ruining the whole thing?
Because you are. We have a structure. We have a rhythm that we usually stick to. I mean, it's not exactly set in stone, but at the same time, we tend to try to stick to it.
Yeah.
Yet you want to try to crunch it all down into a small amount of time, and then you want to spend half of that time pissing me off.
Okay, well, just
Don't
go
use
ahead
that
with
article.
anything
We're
you
not
want.
using that article. We'll use that article another day.
We are so you've been on with me for about 50 minutes or so, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And for half that time, you've been hollering.
But how much of that 50 minutes was fucking wasted?
Yeah, you're just hollering. So just stop hollering and talk about anything you want. Relax, man.
That's
Relax.
cute. That's fucking cute. That's cute. That's like when you say you're going to come over in an hour and then you call me in 5 minutes and say, hurry up, but relax. Right.
I'm going to play another game, so we'll have that much time. And then I gotta, then I'll have to go take care of Professor Bam. That'll probably be a half hour, 45 minutes or so. So talk about anything you want.
you don't want to have any fun.
Why do you think it's me that doesn't want to have fun?
Because you want to restrain it to a very short period of time. Because you want to ask ridiculous questions for 45 minutes of the 2 hours you plan to go fucking live.
Oh, this is good. Listen, a woman will never know. It's not just you. It's all women. You're literally. It's all my fault, Rose. I'm sorry. It's my fault. So just talk about anything you want. I would love to support.
You want to say women, but you know what? Not all dudes are like you. So
I would love to support you in any topic you want to discuss. I have opinions, or I can keep my mouth shut. Whatever you want. You know?
Well, you don't need to start talking about Cardi B for 10 minutes. Well, we're talking about a completely different subject.
Man, she got that new music video out today. Fans, go check out the Cardi B. I got a playlist. It's called B Money Hip Hop Playlist, something like that. And I got the new Cardi B song in there.
You don't get to talk about Cardi B.
Yeah.
You fucking took 40 minutes talking about fucking childhood toys, okay?
Sure, yeah. I'll take as long as I want with my guests. You know? I will take an hour, 2 hours.
Those questions were terrible, ridiculous questions that you drug out as long as you possibly could.
It's from the Huffington Post, and I enjoyed it. They're questions that I really wouldn't have thought up, so it's from somebody that's different, and it really makes you think, and it makes the questioner think, and it makes the person answering it think, and it opened up some channels, and that's all I'm trying to do when I'm interviewing somebody. Makes it interesting.
That wasn't a lot of that. I'm sitting here waiting to be on the damn podcast. You said 30 minutes. It was probably closer to 50 minutes.
I think I said 30 to 45 minutes is what I said.
No, you said 30 minutes, and I'm sitting here waiting. Honestly, your questions were putting me to sleep.
Okay, well, I enjoyed it. So if you want to go to sleep, that's okay. I mean, everybody's different.
And he went to sleep during that portion of the podcast.
That's okay. Everybody's different. Some people like to listen to the things MJ and I were talking about. Some people don't. And that's okay. And it's your prerogative. Like I said, you don't have to be on...
She did the best she could with the material you were throwing at her.
Rose.
And I commend her for that.
We don't have to do the podcast, number one. We've already talked about this a couple times. If you constantly are upset and mad about things, we don't have to do it, okay? We're going to talk, but we're going to talk anyways. You can just relax, and we can talk about whatever.
You want to make it so that I don't even want to talk to you.
Okay. I'm not sure why that is, but I hear you.
No, you don't.
Sure I do.
That's some gobbledygook bullshit you read in a book on how to fucking appease people who are mad at you. I hear you. Right, you don't hear me. You hear you. You hear Buck Benona, the next Joe Rogan, the Buck Benona experience. That's what you hear.
Whatever you say, Rose. Yep, criticism is something I'm okay. I don't have thin skin. I'm always open to hearing people's opinions. And I'm not going to censor you. But if you don't have to do a podcast, then you can always do your own podcast where you do whatever you want. You know? Do whatever you want. I support you. I'll go on your podcast. You just tell me where, when, and where.
I thought this was supposed to be our podcast, which is what you initially told me.
Yeah. It's a Benona Buck podcast.
No, this is the Benona podcast. Shut the fuck up.
Do you want me to rename the podcast? What should we rename it to? Soap's Nice?
Buck Benona is fine, but you need to realize...
It's not Buck Benona. It's the Benona Buck B-Money podcast. Listen.
Use percentage of the word to keep it interesting and fresh.
Hey, Rose, it's not called the Buck Benona. It's called the Benona Buck Podcast. Okay?
Well, fine. Benona Buck.
It doesn't say Buck Benona. Benona Buck.
That's as ridiculous as the Jackson Michael podcast.
Not exactly.
You don't reverse the names. If you want to go by Buck Benona, you don't say Benona
I don't
Buck.
go by Buck Benona.
I'm more Benona than you are anyway.
Yeah, okay. Cool, man.
Yeah. Elite Edge says, I didn't realize Michael Jackson sang a song with Kenny Rogers. Got me Googling stuff. Yep. He did a lot of songs with a lot of people you would be surprised about. But you can hear him. It's not like you would never know if you had heard the song. You would know. It's obvious. I like the one he did with Kenny Loggins that I can't remember the name of right now because I'm stressed.
Yeah, what was the song he did with Kenny Loggins? I would like to know about that.
Right. Elite Edge says can hear him crystal clear.
Yeah. You can't miss him. And you don't hear him on those songs that they say are him on the album. They're not him.
Right.
Yep.
Hold on a second. I'm going to Google that.
Yeah, Google it. What's up over there, Elite Edge? How you doing tonight? What's happening with you? You at work? What's going on in your life today? I appreciate you. I want to tell you that again. Thank you so much for being on the pod every night. Rose and I do.
The song is called Who's Right, Who's Wrong.
Okay. What year's it from? 80s?
1979. So around the time he was
before he was even Michael Jackson.
Okay, this would be around the time he was putting out Off the Wall.
Yeah, probably before that, huh?
No, around the same time. Around that time, he was actually doing a lot of background vocal work with a lot of different artists.
Yeah, and what year did Off the Wall? What year was that released?
79.
Was Off the Wall 79?
I believe so.
Can you double check that? Let me know what the date was that it was released.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Yeah, I bet you may be right.
August 10th, 1979.
There you go. And when was the Kenny Loggins released?
They were probably all recorded around the same time.
Kenny was in the studio with Michael. They were just laying down some tracks.
Probably. And Quincy, probably.
Did Kenny work with Quincy?
Yeah, some. October? Yeah, it was released in October of 79.
Okay, so Off the Wall was first. You're 100% right. Good to know that. I like to know these things. Now we know what all the dates were. Interesting.
Okay. So let's do that list. Because I think a list is what we need.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's do a list. I think a list is what we need.
And I've already said the title, so I think we should just go with it.
Yeah, say the title again.
All right.
Remind me one more time.
All right, this is from Screen Rant, written by Rose Moore, and it's 11 worst superhero movies of all time.
Okay. Rose Moore, huh?
Yep.
That's quite a name.
It's got nothing to do with me. This was written December 13th, 2015.
Great roses think alike.
Well, actually, I don't know if I agree with everything on this list, but, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Number 11 is Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Ooh, I like that movie. That's the one with
Nicolas Cage.
I like that movie. Yep, I like it.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. The most recent entry on the list, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, was so widely recognized as a terrible film that it managed to scoop a Razzie Award nomination for Worst Prequel, Remake, or Ripoff. The follow-up to the only slightly better received 2007 film, Ghost Rider, is packed full of cheap and dirty action sequences clinging desperately to what little storyline exists, and had critics foaming at the mouth.
Oh, there's a second. Hold on. There's a second one with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like the first one. I've never seen the second one. Okay.
I don't know if I have either, but we'll have to check it out someday.
All right.
The film may have been criticized for the weak yet strangely convoluted plot, poor writing, sloppy CGI, but one of the biggest criticisms is for Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze / Ghost Rider. His acting crossed the line between intense and ridiculous, and his performance is hard to take seriously. A sad B-movie for a potentially great character.
I like Nicolas Cage. What's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie of all time?
What's the one where he thought he was a vampire called?
I don't remember. That's an older one, though. Yeah, that's interesting. He was in Gone in 60 Seconds. That was a good one.
The National Treasure movies are good.
National Treasures were good. Yep. I like Nick Cage. No problems with him.
Vampire's Kiss. It might actually contain some of Nicolas Cage's best acting. I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
Interesting. We'll put a link to that in the comments. I'd love to see it.
You've never seen it?
No.
It's probably free on Roku, I would imagine. It's one of those movies. I don't know.
Another B movie? Another Nick Cage B movie.
It's kind of like a cult film where it was not really widely received, but people still enjoy it because Nick Cage and ridiculousness.
Nick Cage ridiculousness. Gotcha. Okay, what's up next?
The next song on not song. These aren't songs. What am I thinking? Okay, the next movie on the list is Catwoman from 2004.
That's the one with starring who?
Haley Berry.
Never seen it.
Haley Berry.
Never seen it.
You've never seen it?
Nope.
I saw it in the theaters, and I thought there were some issues with the movie, but I didn't think it was that bad. It was a fun movie to watch in the theater, you know?
Okay, I don't remember
Some of it was ridiculous. I mean, there's a basketball scene that's comparable, almost like a complete ripoff of the Daredevil basketball scene that gets a lot of jokes made about it.
Who plays basketball in Daredevil? I've never seen that either. Is that a TV show that you watch, or is that a movie too?
No, in the movie with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck plays basketball with, I think Jennifer Garner's character, but I can't remember.
Oh, I see. Okay. So Batman plays basketball and Jennifer Garner is the Daredevil.
No, but anyway, let's get back to Catwoman.
How does that work then? So, like, who is the Daredevil? So Batman is Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck played Daredevil in a movie a long time ago.
Okay, but he's Batman. So, like, did Daredevil become Batman? How did that work?
Now he's Batman, but he was in a Daredevil movie, and it gets jokes made about it, but I liked it.
Okay.
It was those 2000 superhero movies when superhero movies hadn't quite figured themselves out about how they needed to do their thing, you know. They're forgetting again, obviously. Like, some of the newer ones have lost their way. But I didn't think Ben Affleck's Daredevil was terrible. It was just, there were a lot of things in there that were almost like trendy. Or it was weird, you know.
Elite Edge says
it had the structure of a decent movie, but some of the stuff within it was just weird.
Elite Edge says he's one of the few people that liked the Daredevil movie.
Oh, does he? Oh,
that's what he said.
like I said, I like the Daredevil movie. I just think that there were some things in it that were a little bit dated. They're a little bit weird, but it had the structure of a decent movie. It's just some of the things in it were weird.
Okay. Interesting.
And you know, the Marvel Daredevil series gets a lot of hype as being a really good show. And honestly, what they did with it to begin with wasn't that much different from the Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah.
It's just,
I really enjoyed Ben Affleck in that classic movie starring him and Matt Damon and Robin Williams. It's called Good
Dogma?
Will
I like
Hunting.
him in Dogma.
Remember that? Good Will Hunting. It's a good movie.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were awesome in Dogma.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're on Catwoman, 2004. We're talking about Daredevil, which hasn't even been mentioned. So,
Okay.
where would a bad superhero movie list be without this atrocious version of one of our favorite Batman villainesses? Halle Berry may be a phenomenal actress, but even her talents couldn't atone for this mess of a movie. Berry recognizes this as a terrible film. I'm having trouble reading. Sorry. Let me sit up. Okay. And accepted a Razzie for her role in it. At which point, she even apologized for how awful it is. That's sad.
Never apologize.
Catwoman.
Remember what Tom Cruise said? No apologies. No apologies. You don't apologize.
No, he said, I'm beyond apologies.
He said no apologies also. He yelled it.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, Catwoman's biggest issue lies in how far it deviates from the source material. Selena Kyle is inexplicably renamed Patience Phillips, and it suggested that she is one in a long line of Catwomen who gained their powers through mystical Egyptian cat.
Well, that's totally weird.
Phillips is clearly heavily inspired by the hugely superior Pfeiffer version of the character, starting out as a timid office worker killed by the higher-ups after discovering their plan to sell defective cosmetics. It's enough to make you wonder if the writers even picked up a comic or just riffed off Batman Returns, which kind of is true. The whole weird mythology of the cats bringing her back to life and actually having 9 lives, that came in, I believe, with the Tim Burton movie. So, Catwoman, aside from that Burton idea, that it started with the Burton movie, Catwoman was basically just a cat burglar who liked cats. You know? Yep.
A cat burglar who likes cats. Interesting.
Right.
I picture the Hamburglar
number
from
9.
McDonald's. I feel like they all ripped off the Hamburglar from McDonald's.
Number 9, Batman the Movie, 1966.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of people watch that, huh?
I'm not really big on the Adam West Batman stuff. I try, but I can't.
Adam West.
How about you?
I like Adam West. He's in the cartoons that I watch. He's very good.
Yeah, he's cool in Family Guy,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
his Batman was not the, dark gothic Batman that we like. Although Robert Pattinson promises probably to be the most emo Batman we'll ever see, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
In the future, when that comes out, we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
When is that coming out? When's the new Batman coming out? This summer?
I don't know, I think next year.
Yeah, I would wait. I would wait. Wait till next year.
Hold on, let me look that up.
Lead Edge says, I like Adam West as Batman. It was Batman for a different generation. Me too, Elite Edge. As do I. I like Batman in the light baby blue outfit.
Hey, we've got less than a month. No, wait, we've got a year. Shit, it's 2022. So the Batman is due out March 4th, 2022.
Okay.
So that's a long ways down the line.
Yeah.
Next year.
Thanks, Elite Edge. You're right on the money with that.
hopelessly campy 60s TV series. This was the Bad's first appearance on the silver screen, apart from some low-budget serials in the 40s. This film may be terrible, but it's definitely found its way into the ranks of movies so bad that they are actually good. Starring the incomparable Adam West as Batman alongside Burt Ward as Robin. It's a shiny, happy superhero movie as they biff and bash their way through no less than 4 villains in 105 minutes. Following on from the show, the costumes look homemade, the effects are terrible, and the dialogue is so cheesy that you want to melt it and dip bread in it. However, there is something to be said for the sheer joy that the film takes in being silly. Far from film genius, this has become something of a cult classic for its tongue-in-cheek approach to the Caped Crusader.
We should watch the old Batman movies together sometime. That'd be cool.
I've tried. It's like torture to me.
Batman.
I would, like, if I had to be forced to watch a bad Batman movie, I prefer number 8 on our list.
What's that? The George Clooney Batman?
Batman and Robin, 1997. Another Razzie winner, this time for Alicia Silverstone as Worst Supporting Actress. This 90s Batman flick was nominated for an impressive 10 other Razzies, covering essentially every aspect of the film. The movie is cluttered with comic book names, introducing both Batgirl, Alicia Silverstone, and Robin. They didn't introduce Robin in this. That was another one. And Robin, Chris O'Donnell, as well as including 2 villains in Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman, and Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger. What they're not mentioning here is they also introduced Bane, but made him a very, very minor character. But in the comic books, Bane was a much more major character, and even in the Christopher Nolan movies, Bane is a much more integral character. But anyhow, the film as a whole is just too over the top to be taken seriously. The jokes fly thick and fast, and the camp value is off the charts, but not in a good way. Sets and costumes are eye-wateringly bright and feature the infamous bat nipples. Attempts to tie all together all these quips and characters with plot and backstory lead to a frenetic and headache-inducing installment in Batman history. Yep. What do you think of the George Clooney Batman movie?
I think good thing George Clooney made a vodka company or whatever and sold it, Casamigos.
You know, a lot of cool toys came from that movie, though.
I have no clue.
A lot of cool toys. Ultra had the Batmobile and like a Mr. Freeze car and all sorts of weird, wacky stuff from that movie. Yep. Yep. And I think we had the Batman and Robin figurines from that movie. Would have been better to get figurines from previous movies. Heck, even the Val Kilmer one would be better than the George Clooney one, but you know.
That's interesting that Val Kilmer was Batman.
Isn't it?
Tom Cruise's nemesis.
Anyhow, I've never seen the next movie on the list. It's before my time, but it's possible that you saw it.
Yeah, what is it?
You were into this comic book stuff at this time, so it's possible.
What is it?
Number 7 is Fantastic Four 1994.
No, never saw it.
No?
1994?
Yeah, 1994.
I didn't even know they did one.
This unreleased B-movie was made with the sole intention of allowing the studio to retain the rights to the Fantastic Four characters, and it shows. Produced by King of B-movies Roger Corman, this film is incredibly corny. Chock full of poorly delivered and groan-worthy lines. Because it was never intended for release, the film was given the most limited of budgets. And this is obvious in every scene. However, the film made it to cult classic status, as Corman's work has a certain silly charm to it. This is a superhero film without even a hint of darkness, or as our brightly costumed heroes battle a villain with a diamond ray gun, getting into obviously choreographed fights, and delivering terrible lines. While its low quality is famous in nerdier circles, it's still occasionally fun to watch. As a film, it's fun to watch as a film, and so bad it's almost good. Almost. Yep. I wonder if Elite had just seen the Fantastic Four movie from 1994.
No, I think we all think of the one that came about 10 years later.
Oh. Yeah, anyhow. So, number 6 on the list is a 1997 movie starring Shaquille O'Neal, Steel.
Great movie, huh?
I liked Steel, but I was like 7 when I watched it. So if it was terrible, I wouldn't have much to judge whether or not it was terrible on, you know?
Mm-hmm. Shaq.
I remember it. I would probably put it in the same realm as that Star Kid movie. Like, you know.
I like Shaq.
Okay.
I'm glad he made a movie. Good for you, Shaq.
Yeah. Yeah. This oft-forgotten attempt to bring a little diversity to big-screen superheroes. Steel was one of athlete Shaquille O'Neal's first forays into the world of acting, and it shows. Unsurprisingly, his painfully wooden performance was nominated for a Razzie and heavily criticized in most reviews of the box office flop. The effects and costuming are subpar, with the key to the character's style, his iron armor, regularly flapping in the breeze, and generally not appearing even vaguely like metal. On top of poor effects, acting, and solidly one-dimensional hero at the helm, Steel ladles on some cheese with an ooey-gooey feel-good message that simply doesn't scan. I don't really fully remember. Do remember Mom liking the movie because there was welding in it.
That's cool.
And at the time, she was working in a welding factory.
It's good when you can find things like that to make you like something and make it happy. That's cool. What's next on the list? What's the next number?
Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Cool, man.
Any thoughts on Superman 4?
No thoughts. It's a bad movie. It should be on the list. All of them should be.
Easily recognized as the worst of Christopher Reeve's Superman films, The Quest for Peace failed on almost every level. It failed to save Canon Films as the studio had hoped a Superman film might, and Reeves himself regretted his involvement with the film. The budget was minuscule for a superhero film, and after allegedly running out of funds while still filming, the movie was cobbled together and released only to fail at the box office. Another Razzie nominee for worst visual effects, this one fell down primarily because of the terrible appearance. While the acting is generally considered passable, although not brilliant by any means, the special effects are incredibly cheap and give an overall low-budget feel to the film. The plot, such as it is, lacks any real depth, and the villain just doesn't seem overly threatening or engaging. The Quest for Peace is widely credited as the reason that Superman dropped out of the live-action arena for over a decade after its release.
Interesting.
Hey, read our most recent comment.
I have definitely seen Fantastic Four 1994.
Who was right about that one?
Yep. Cool, man. It's good to have a lead edge on. Number what?
What did you say?
I said it's great to have a lead edge on the pod.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good to have a fan that comments. We want our fans to engage with us, to comment, to tell us. Tell us when we're right. Tell us when we're wrong. Tell us stats. That's cool. It helps us.
Right.
Yep.
Number 4, Captain America 1990.
I don't remember that.
See, I almost think he might, Elite Edge might have seen this one too, because I think that he might have seen a lot of these 90s superhero movies. I'm not certain, but it's possible. That this was a straight-to-video offering that isn't even a sequel or spin-off really says it all. A cheap, tacky B-movie version of Steve Rogers fails to impress in a film that entertainment called not merely wrong for kids, just all wrong. While it manages to not to stray too far from the basic Captain America origin story as Steve reawakens in the 90s, the plot starts to devolve into a less than subtle environmental propaganda piece with some nuclear energy, the weapon of every 90s supervillain, thrown in for good measure. Throughout, it deals with the usual cheap and tacky costuming and terrible effects. Red Skull deals with some cringeworthy prosthetics that give him the look of a man in a cheap Red Skull mask.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, one of the biggest issues with star Matt Salinger, son of reclusive author J.D. Salinger, who lacked the charm that is so vital to the character. Okay, the next movie is before all of our times, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's number 3, and it's Doctor Strange, 1978.
Yeah. Never seen that.
Elite Edge about the Captain America one says, who hasn't seen that one? I haven't seen that one.
I haven't either. I haven't
think
seen
Buck
most of
has
these.
seen that one.
I haven't seen most of these
Right.
bad movies.
Okay. We were kind of limited in our media when we were younger. We had 3 channels and no VCR, so in the 90s we
and
kind
no
of missed
money.
some of these movies. These
No
superhero movies, I
cash.
suppose. Right. Okay, so Doctor Strange, 1978. This little-known TV movie is perfect for anyone who thought that Doctor Strange would just be so much better if he looked more like a cheesy 70s porno star, complete with mustache and heavy gold chains. This was accompanied by a jaunty soundtrack and some psychedelic special effects. The movie lacks any real action or indeed plot, as vast chunks of time are spent watching Strange solicitously deal with patients, and other characters just sort of exist. Instead of the action-packed superhero movies that we get today, it's a long-winded and incredibly boring take on the superhero. Possibly, this was done because of those crazy spinning color effects that were expensive in the 70s. And
That's like what I saw when I visited the shaman. I visited the shaman and I saw that crazy spinning color effect. Weird. Only in real life, you know?
And this film clearly had a budget that needed to be viewed with a microscope. Our female villain is just a cherry on top of this god-awful sundae, as Morgan Le Fay not only chooses not to kill Strange because he thinks he's cute, but receives the ultimate punishment of being made unattractive and old-looking. Doctor Strange is a meandering and largely pointless attempt at a superhero film. Okay. Elite Edge says bad movies always ended up on late night. Okay, number 2. I've seen this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Supergirl, 1984.
Yep, I've seen that one too. Not a terrible. It was
Yeah.
okay. It was an okay movie.
Okay, this painfully chauvinist rom-com of a superhero film is difficult to watch without wincing. The plot itself is horrifying in its blatant sexism, as Supergirl battles a fairly unimpressive witch for the affections of an attractive gardener. While Superman got to take on legitimate threats to the world, Supergirl takes part in what boils down to an hour-and-a-half-long cat fight for a hot guy.
Yeah, well,
The cat?
it's all in who's watching it. I don't feel those things about it. I think it's a fine movie. I think she's kind of a hot woman, and she should get in the kitchen and make us all a sandwich with her superpowers.
The cast is almost all female, which would be a nice foray into diversity if they weren't
And
all
inclusion.
quite so brain dead and motivated entirely by their desperate need to get a man. Just to hammer the point home, at any point where either Supergirl or her bumbling magical foes are in trouble, they call in the boys to save the day. Finally, in a bizarre twist to the final boss battle, it's not Supergirl who actually vanquishes the enemy, but the hot gardener. However, he kisses her after, so everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Terrible effects, cheap costuming, poor effects, and stilted acting complete this utter facepalm of a movie that should have been a triumph for kick-ass female characters.
I have to know what number one is before I close the podcast down. I gotta know. Bam, right now, Professor Bam is awake and needs food. Right now, she's very ill. I have to go take care of her, but I need to know what number one is. What's number one?
You're talking very slowly, so you don't need to know very well, do you? Because I would have already read it.
Yep.
Number one is Superman 1977 and Spider-Man Strikes Back 1978, so we've got a twofer for that one.
Why are they saying Superman is on the list? That's very dumb.
Oh, shit. Spider-Man. Fuck.
Okay, so
Spider-Man,
yeah, that Spider-Man movie is
77,
horrible.
Spider-Man Strikes Back 78.
It's horrible, but also when you were little and there was no superhero movies and everything sucked, it gave you something to look at. You know, it made you
The thing
imagine.
about it is, you watched these when we were little. I remember being in the room when you watched these and thinking they were horrible and boring.
Yeah.
As a little kid, I thought these movies were horrible and boring,
Mm-hmm.
and haven't watched them since. When you can't even keep little kids interested in your horrible, boring movie, you're screwing up.
Elite Edge says it wasn't horrible. I'm with you, Elite Edge. When you're a kid and they get a Spider-Man movie, you're just excited to see anything. Yes, it's horrible compared to what we have now, but it's just cool to have. It's cool to have these movies. And whoever made this list is obviously an SJW by everything they said on the last thing. So I totally let them do that, and I can appreciate their position. But it was okay.
Saying that this movie almost ruined Spider-Man for me. If not for the cartoon in the 90s, I probably wouldn't even like Spider-Man at all.
Yeah, I agree with you, Elite Edge. It's
That
fucking
cartoon
Spider-Man.
that was like late 90s, 97, 98.
Yep.
That was a good cartoon. That's the only, yeah. If I hadn't watched that cartoon, I probably wouldn't like Spider-Man at all. Based on these movies, that, yeah, they were horrible.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Cool, man. Well, this was an interesting
I was
list.
6 or 7 trying to watch them, but
It was an interesting list. I hope you feel that you've gotten to talk for an hour and a half. I hope you feel like you've gotten to get a lot of things off.
I haven't actually.
Yeah, I hope you feel like you've gotten to get things off your chest. When you go to a counseling appointment, that's usually only 45 minutes. So you've done 2 counseling appointments in a row. The first one, 45 minutes, was yelling at me. And the second one was really good, talking about this stuff. So it's really, I've had a good pod. I've enjoyed it. And I think you did a great job, like always. I appreciate you. Elite Edge, you have a great night, too.
I don't
have a
think
great
you
night.
appreciate me as much as you
Yeah.
say you do, because you edge me out.
Hey,
and
you
play
guys have
games
a
with
great
me,
night.
and
It's
you
been
think it's
Benona
funny.
Buck, number 23.
So when
It's
you
in
say
the
I
books.
appreciate you, I don't
We'll
take
see you
it
tomorrow.
seriously.